What are you, time-lapsing or something? Well, shouldn't you do it vertical? Create a little space between a couple books down, and so like wedge the pop socket in between a couple books. Get a little hole for the pop socket to go in, like 4 books down. Yeah, so like make a little hole and then wedge it in. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, yeah. I mean, this seems worth it. What? What a little tripod setup here. I'm just gonna jump cut this whole first part. It's gonna be great for everybody. That's fine. Let's just see what we get.
It's not easy.
Yeah, it looks great. All right, WAIMers, so the point of this is we are gearing up to finish up the production of Build Without Burnout, and we have a lot of remaining tasks. We don't have a lot of remaining time. As of recording this, we have 11 days
Tracks for us.
Until we're going live. Not gonna say we bit off more than we could chew, more just along the lines of we knew it was going to be a lot of work, so now we're just figuring out how to make all of this happen.
A couple things I want to say. First is we would recommend people obviously have much more lead up time for something like this. However, we've built and launched countless amounts of things now. So
6 million things.
I do feel like this time frame I would not recommend to anyone else, but it gives me confidence knowing that we've done this many times now. So that's kind of why we're down to the wire. Number 2, we knew that the holidays were going to be during the build phase of this, and we didn't want to be working over the holidays, and that was a decision that we made.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad that we didn't. But number 3, we knew that we needed to launch in January just for our cash flow purposes of Wandering Aimfully. Like we can't do what we did with the original build of Wandering Aimfully, where we just like keep pushing it back to make it perfect. We can't do that. So we're just gonna do the best that we can with the date that we've put in place.
And I think a really important lesson here that you're going to hear us talk about when we start doing these tests is we have this course academy program thing, Build Without Burnout, and it's 6 major lessons long, so 1 lesson per month with lessons in between for each week. And we're going to give ourselves the permission to not have all of them done by launch, because the idea is that you go through this course over the time of 6 months. You don't go through it all at one time. And so for us, that actually gives us the leeway to go, well, we don't need to make the 4th and 5th and 6th module right away. We can actually launch with the first 3, and if someone really wants to zoom through, we're gonna give that ability to do that. But for you guys who might be building things as well, give yourselves the permission to go, okay, I don't need to have it all at once, because someone doesn't need to have all this information at once.
Right, and really that's the bigger question of when you're doing something like this, asking yourself what really needs to be in the core product. And you have to make those decisions, or else you will burn out and you will try to do too much. And you guys know that historically we sort of over deliver on the amount of things that we include, and we're trying our best not to do that this time around, knowing that we don't want to just give people more and more information for the sake of it. Like we really want to be thoughtful about what we're leading people through. And also that challenges our own insecurities of like wanting to just do everything because we want it to be super valuable. And it's like, no, it takes a lot more confidence, I think, to be more succinct and to pull back a little bit, which I struggle with. So.
Okay, so the intention, because we like to set an intention for these unedited meetings for you guys, because we have a lot of stuff that we want to do. During this meeting, we are going to try and think about every task we have remaining until launch date on January 21st. So we're recording this on January 10th. It is probably going to go to you guys a couple days after that. But we have essentially 11 days until launch. So we wanted to write out every single thing remaining, from sales page copy to building the course to where we are with the slides, all of that. When we finish recording this, we're actually gonna have a second meeting we're not gonna record, where we go through every slide one by one and talk about them. And now some of you may be going, oh, I wish you would have shared that. There's just so much stuff for us to do. We just don't have time to record everything and share everything. So I don't know, we'll talk about that later. So what we have open right now and what I'm showing you on the screen is we have this content calendar Airtable. I just did airplane quotes, but I'm already showing the screen.
Are you recording your screen?
Yes.
Oh.
And this is not just our content calendar. This is kind of our everything Wandering Aimfully calendar. So sorry, the name's a little misleading, but we get it. Remaining tasks is where we are. We have a bunch of tasks in here that we need to work on and do, but we're also gonna just add everything to this as well and have this big bucketed list.
Also, if you see me looking like longingly in the distance, it's
yes.
because we are airplaying it to our TV, which is behind the camera. So I'm not just like
Yeah.
Staring
So
off
we have you being recorded on my iPhone, and then right behind that is the TV, but I also have the exact same thing on my computer. So I don't necessarily know that we need it up there, but it's just, it's nice to have. Whatever. It's fine.
Well, we're going to use it for the next meeting anyways. So.
Yeah. Okay. So intention, get all of our tasks done, get everything out of our brains, lay it all out here, and then assign, set some dates, figure out what can get pushed, what can't get pushed.
Yep. And so the way we normally do this is we type out all the tasks first, and then we go back through, like Jason said, and we say who's going to take that and a date, like a deadline for it. And then the great thing about Airtable is that you can see that in like a calendar view. I can filter by my own tasks. So what I really love is doing a view where it's just my tasks separated by date. So I have literally to-do lists every day that I didn't have to create because Airtable did it for me.
Yeah. And then I actually like to take these tasks that are assigned to me and I like to time block them out on my calendar because I love using Google Calendar as my accountability. So I'll take out all of my things and I'll put them in little 30-minute or 60-minute or whatever chunks on my calendar.
Cool.
All right. Before we get started.
That's a cold hand.
That's a warm body.
Which you can imagine how cold it feels.
Hey, what's up, guys? We're Cold Hands, Warm Bodies, and this is our first hit single, Touch. Touch Burr. I'm very grateful for the amount of work that you've done on this so far, and I'm excited to get this thing out into the world for everybody.
Thank you. I'm very grateful to you for setting up all of this business.
See, that's a little bit of a phone-in. That has nothing to do with me personally as a good person. I do this crap all the time.
Guys, we try to do gratitude, and then we criticize each other's gratitude.
Here's the key to a strong relationship.
Let me think of another one.
Criticize the other person's gratitude.
Okay, maybe this one will be okay. Babe, I'm very grateful that you are a person who is very time efficient and very good at like getting things done.
I'm gonna give you a 6 out of 10. But it's a positive score.
I'm going to give you a 0 out of 10.
It's a positive score.
I'm going to give you a 0 out of 10.
On my rating of your rating? Yeah. All right, let's get started.
Okay.
So.
What are these two empty tasks right here?
I have no idea.
All right, let's delete them.
I didn't put those there. All right, are you starting at the bottom? Is that where you're going to be?
Mm-hmm,
okay.
You're going to say stuff and I'm just going to.
Okay, so let's go through first draft of slides. So that's going to be after this meeting, since you've already created 285 slides or however many slides it is.
Guys, that was me being
succinct. Yes. Let's just say the branding of, I would say branding of lesson 1, branding of lesson 2. Do you want to have branding of Keynote template?
Yeah, because that's going to be me deciding like the master slides and like the general different slide layouts. And then as separate tasks, it's going to be like finalizing, I would just say finalizing like module 1, finalizing module 2.
Okay.
That's kind of how it's going to.
And that's specifically for the keynotes.
Yes.
Okay.
Finalizing.
So while you type that, I'm going to
one.
stop your phone because it doesn't need to time lapse for 30 minutes.
No, it doesn't.
And it's also a good opportunity for me to check my phone to make sure it's still recording, which it is, and that's wonderful.
Finalizing month 2 keynotes, finalizing month 3 keynotes. Here's a pro tip about doing these tasks. Break them down, like be honest with yourself about how you're gonna actually break them down in doing them and not just putting one big task. So we could say finalizing all slides, but there's 6 months of modules, there's 24 lessons.
3,
I'm not gonna do that.
2, 1. I took a random photo with her phone.
I'm not gonna do that in one sitting. So because I'm not gonna do that in one sitting, I'm gonna write down the tasks in how I would break it up to complete them in kind of smaller things. This is also, if you've seen I don't think our time management video is up yet.
No, not yet.
But one of the things that we recommend for productivity is creating micro deadlines. So not one big deadline, but like micro, I'm gonna finalize these slides by this day. I'm gonna finalize these slides by that day, breaking it down into smaller pieces. Helps you stay on track.
Nuggets. Now, are you really typing out every one of these words? All right.
Yeah, I like it. But you know why? Jason gave me his old computer. I love the way that the keys sound.
The butterfly keys? Yeah.
Why are they butterflies?
That's the mechanism inside, is the butterfly mechanism that Apple invented. It's just like the way the key responds. It's also why it's so damn loud.
I love it loud.
But it's the difference between yours and mine. So watch, like, go ahead and just type the word finalizing. So that's what it sounds like on yours?
Oh, they dampened it.
Yeah.
They were like, people are mad.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so that's finalizing the keynotes, which is good. So let's just talk about recording intro videos, so talking head video for the introduction, recording it for the course completion. Can you copy and paste and just change the last word?
I think that we also need to, maybe don't do it right now, but I would like to take a look at the outline and actually come up with, because now that you can see what the videos are, we'll do it after we go through the slides.
Yeah.
But like, there's like 48 videos.
Okay, yeah. So this needs to be talking head.
I know that sounds like a lot, but it's because we made the decision this time around to err on the side of splitting up the videos, so like.
Because again, it's 6 main lessons, and each lesson has 4 weeks within it.
And each weekly lesson could potentially have 1 to 5 videos, and that's because we wanted to keep them short and around one topic. And the reason we're doing that, and we're going to give you a big key, is because people going through this program, we want you to be able to go, oh, I want to go talk about blog post formatting, or I want to go learn about SEO. Like, instead of trying to dig through a whole lesson about content and trying to find the exact slide, you can have just like a short 3-minute video, and I think that's an easier way to digest it.
Yeah. Okay, so talking head, are we also going to do a talking head for each lesson itself? Which I think we should.
Yeah.
Even if it's literally 1 to 2 minutes, and it's saying like, hey, welcome to, module number 1. This is where we're going to talk to you about making your client business more efficient. And we're going to go over these 3 things. All right, like dive into the videos below.
So I'm going to separate those by like month modules.
And so that essentially, intro, course completion, and the 6 months, that's all the talking head video, okay? So then we have recording all of the slide voiceovers.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to do those lesson by lesson.
Yeah, so just do
record slide lesson content for lesson 1.
So slide recording, slide lesson content. No, it's fine. Our semantics are different.
Well, your word for the year is loosened, so you're not going to worry about it, though.
That's why I said it's fine.
Proud of you.
That's why I said it's fine.
It's fine.
Everything's fine.
Guys, this is the thing about running a business together.
I didn't know you were going that.
What do you want me to do?
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. So how many total lessons are there?
24.
24. Got it. Wowzers. It's going to feel good to mark all of those complete.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And like the advice that I was just giving to them, which is true, which is like, you need to see how much work there is in order to be able to make.
This is exactly what we talked about earlier this week. Why we wanted to do this. It's because we need to see how much there is
in order to make the decisions that you need to make, and this not sacrifices, but the trade-offs. Okay.
And especially because we can estimate how much time it's going to take to record slide lessons. So, I mean, let's just ballpark. It's going to take 30 minutes for each lesson, like on the fast end. Like, let's say it's that. So that's 12 hours.
Yeah. So how can we spread out 12 hours over the course of 4 days or whatever?
And that's where we made the decision. We were on a walk of like, okay, we don't need to give everybody all 6 modules, all 24 lessons out of the gate. Instead, we're going to give them half, so that's 12. So that cuts our recording time from 12 hours to 6 hours.
Which is
hey, that's a lot more manageable in the next 11 days to figure that out. And then as the course is being sold, we'll go through and we'll do the rest of them and deliver those as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the recording. I think we should just... I'm trying to think about editing and uploading, because while those things seem like, oh, that's fine, those things take a lot of time.
Right. So I can copy and paste that big thing.
I don't know that I want you to list out editing for all 24 and then uploading for all 24.
But don't you think that it would be good to do that, especially because we can keep track of the status of all of them here?
Sure.
Or would you rather create a separate sheet where we have all the lessons listed out and then we just can mark the status? But like, that's a real time that you're gonna have to do. What's your hesitation? That you just don't want to look at it?
Not that I don't, well, that I don't want to look at it in this list because it makes this list like just like crazy long. Maybe we do recording, editing, and uploading of all of these. Like all as one task.
I think editing and uploading is one. Because think about it, recording is like such a big task. And then editing and uploading, that's not a small task either.
Well, that's what I've been trying to tell you. All right, well, that's fine. Then do an editing and uploading for all of those. Hey. And this, my friends, is why you sit down and you do all this work and you list it all out so you can see.
Are you getting stressed out?
No. I mean, we haven't even gotten to like the sales page, the sales emails, the sales video. Look at this copy and pasting. Whew.
What happened?
What do you mean?
It freaked out on me.
Oh, I didn't see it. Didn't see it freak out. All right. While you're doing this.
Guys, are you guys watching this getting stressed out? Probably not, because you can't. Jason probably isn't showing you like the entire. We'll do one nice little scroll through at the end.
Maybe.
But listen, if I've learned anything about being overwhelmed, it's like you do this so that you can get it all out of your head. You assign dates to everything, and then you just look at one day at a time. And you just go, listen, I already did the hard part of figuring all of this out, and I'm not going to overwhelm myself. Like, if I follow the plan, there is enough time to get everything done. But you just have to follow the plan. You're not listening.
No, I'm writing extra tasks, but that was for them, not for me.
True. But I was looking for like a, ooh, good point.
Great point.
We should probably do a dance break after this.
I mean, that's on you.
You went ahead.
Yeah, you were copying and
Your
pasting.
little efficiency brain was just like,
You were copying and pasting. That was really boring.
Okay, well, tell everybody what you added.
So you did all that. So that's the production of all the lesson content. That's the videos. Those will all be uploaded to Wistia, organized there. And this is going to be like 19 gigs of footage that I have to deal with and then back up. It's a good thing I have a new laptop and has so much more footage space. So I did create course in Teachery. So that's just the bare bones setup. I'm going to essentially go through and just add 8 lessons. So an introduction lesson, 6 of the main lessons, and then a completion lesson. Within each of those lessons, I'm going to do sub-lessons. So I'm going to do 4 sub-lessons within the middle 6. And then that'll be the bare bones. So it'll be set up. Do we want to do minimal or default theme?
That's up to you.
I think I want to do minimal just because I like the view sub-lessons drop down better and it's not the long. Like I think in Teachery, when you have more than, let's say, 12 lessons, including sub-lessons, the default theme it's just not built for that many lessons. Like it scrolls for so long on the left side. The minimal theme collapses them into a nice little drop down. So I think we're gonna go minimal.
Sure.
So minimal, then we're gonna style the course in Teachery, which involves adding the header, picking the colors, all that stuff. You are very good at that. You do a great job in kind of like making it feel different and unique. Those of you WAIMers who have been in the Better Branding course, the Hand Lettering for Beginners course, the iPad Lettering course, the Make Money Making course, if you've clicked through all those, you will see like these are basically the exact same Teachery template, but they all look wildly different, which
Make
is
Money
just,
Making's the minimal, but
which is just a testament to like how good you are at working through that. So
I really enjoy it.
also shout out to Pam, Kathleen, a couple other folks who I've seen their courses recently who've done just a really good job, kind of like
Kelsey.
Kelsey's stuff is great. Kelsey does such a good job. But I was saying recently. I haven't seen Kelsey's stuff recently. But you do a really good job customizing your courses.
Okay.
Payment page in Teachery. So this seems like a weird thing because we're not going to sell Build Without Burnout on its own. But the course is going to be hosted with its own URL. And if someone were to share that URL, I want to make sure there's a catch-all that someone can come to a payment page of some sort, not be able to buy, but it has some instructions of how that will work.
How are you going to make people not be able to buy?
So the way that this will work in Teachery, there's 2 different workarounds that you can do. One, and this is probably too much information, you guys don't care, but I'll say it quickly. One is you can create a payment page, set a price, doesn't matter, add an expiration date any day previous to today. So I would say the expiration date is January 1st, 2018 even, doesn't matter. That will expire the payment page. Then I set that as the default course page in the manage options section of the course. So that case, anytime anyone types a URL and they're not logged in, they don't have access to the course, it goes to that expired page. On that page, we just have some text that says, hey, this course is for sale as a part of Wandering Aimfully membership. Click here to get that. And then below it would say like, this page is expired, you can't buy. I probably won't do that option as I talked it through. I'm gonna do option 2, which is to create a landing page and strip out all of the sections and have one simple section that essentially says, Build Without Burnout is only for sale through Wandering Aimfully. Click this big giant button to go to the Wandering Aimfully join page. And then that will be set as the default page.
The default page. So that works. Yeah, it's just the catch-all page.
You do have to have a payment page in Teatree. It's just like a thing that
but they won't be able to find it.
But you'll never be able to find it because I'll make the URL string something ridiculous. So that's setting the default page, and then
for those of you who like watching these for the nitty-gritty stuff.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to change
some real tactical advice here.
Payment page plus landing page in Teatree. Setting up a subdomain. So I'm guessing this is going to be, we'll have this live at like bwb.wanderingaimfully.com maybe.
Well, why not just use the URL that we bought?
Which URL? Buildwithoutburnout.com.
Is there a small duck outside?
Just because if we use, so we bought buildwithoutburnout.com. I bought that more of just like a fail-safe to have so someone couldn't build it and then create something similar to what we have. To me, that's actually more of like a insurance thing, not like I want to promote that it lives there. I'd rather it live under a subdomain of Wandering Aimfully so that people feel like they're in like the Wandering Aimfully ecosystem. Does that make sense?
Sure.
So I think I'll just set up it's super easy to set up subdomains in Teatree. It's just one DNS record. So I'll just make that.
So that's going to be bwb.wanderingaimfully.com.
Yeah. I just wrote WAIM.com because it's faster than writing out the full thing. We don't own WAIM.com. Tried to buy it, not a thing. I think that's everything for Teatree. I mean, then it's add all lesson content and videos in Teatree.
Yeah.
I'm not going to list out all 24 of those.
No, that's fine. That you can probably do in one sitting anyway.
Hose. I was like, what is that? One thing we haven't talked about, which
they can't hear that, and so they just watch
both
both of us go like this, and then just go hose.
One thing we have not discussed, but we could discuss right now: are we doing a fully written transcript for each lesson? Because we don't.
I don't think we should. Right now, at least. I think that's one thing that we can sacrifice.
So essentially, a lesson will be embedded Wistia video.
Yes.
It will be the sub-lessons, which will be embedded Wistia videos. And then potentially a sub-lesson will have a worksheet that they can download that we'll have a link to.
Most of them.
But otherwise, there won't be like a written transcript to read for the lesson. It'll all be video lessons.
Right. I think we can write, exactly. I think you'll have titles and then maybe like 1 or 2 sentences just reminding them of what's included so that if someone didn't have the lesson key on hand and they were trying to look for a topic or something.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So add all lesson content and videos in Teatree. That's kind of a big one, but we're lumping that together in one.
Yep.
All right, so that takes care of Teatree stuff. Mm-hmm. All right, so let's talk about the Build Without Burnout sales page. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be, we are transitioning. So we had Caroline designed our existing Wandering Aimfully membership page, which you can't actually even find anymore. We have the Build Without Burnout pre-launch page. So our new membership page is not going to be the previous one that probably most of you or all of you have seen. It's a new one, and we are actually building it on Squarespace, and it's living as a subdomain in Squarespace at join.wanderingaimfully.com. And the reason that we're doing this is because neither of us know WordPress well, and neither of us want to write code specifically for this page and mess with all the things. And this is one of the limitations of going to WordPress, is that neither of us know it well enough to do it ourselves, but we have a Squarespace expert guru ninja refrigerator over here. I'm stealing that from Thomas Frank. I saw it in his Twitter bio and I loved it. It was like expert guru, thought leader, ninja, wizard, refrigerator. And I was like, the refrigerator got me. Like I legit
Because it's silly.
Yeah. So that's going to be designed in Squarespace. You're going to be able to have all kinds of fun with it. And yeah, so
and the challenge for us there is that, and maybe some of you have thought this as we've talked about this new program, Build Without Burnout is our cornerstone program. It's sort of the thing that we're selling, but we're doing it under the umbrella of the Wandering Aimfully membership. And so it's going to be hard to kind of communicate that. It's not very straightforward, but we want it to be known that you basically get all of like our other courses included in the membership, and you get, like, we're not completely blowing up our business model and starting something new. We're basically repackaging the way that we communicate, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so the way that we've talked about it, I think we mentioned it on the last quarterly call, but the new sales page will essentially be the Wandering Aimfully membership is the umbrella, and under the umbrella, the main thing is Build Without Burnout, and then below that is the vault with all the previous courses, is the community, is the access to us, and is access to Teachery. So those are like the 4 things that live under Build Without Burnout. So it's really like 5 important things. And I think this will really help us streamline what people think of when they get it, because saying that there are 30 courses and listing them all out, well, I think that's helpful to show the immersiveness and the amount of stuff. It's just overwhelming. And we've just heard that from so many people.
We get it.
We want Build Without Burnout to be the number one thing that we attract that people go through. And for those of you who have all signed up, whether you're a Buyer Future person or a Wandering Aimfully pre-order person or a just regular Wandering Aimfully member, we know you've all signed up under different things. And this is just kind of the evolution of our business. And I think it's a lot of people have to understand that it just needs to evolve to
and
attract the right people.
we hope that this actually solves a need also for those of you guys that are already in it by going, okay, here's this like core program that I can go through that brings together all of the best information that is inside the Wandering Aimfully courses. And then the way that we've been thinking about it is like all of the existing courses become these more specialized kind of auxiliary resources. So like you do the core product, and then it's like, oh, if I want to learn about sponsorships, I do that. If I want to learn about branding more, I do that.
Yeah.
So it's sort of these auxiliary specialized courses that all support this like very cornerstone program.
Yeah. And the hope is that pretty much like everyone moving forward, at least for the next 6 months, because that's kind of the plan for this, is you go through Build Without Burnout first. And so you guys, it may not be the most important thing for you because it's, again, not why you signed up for Wandering Aimfully or for Buyer Future, but for everybody moving forward, our hope is that that's the thing that attracts them the most. So they go through that, and then like Caroline said, they have these piecemeal things they can learn after. Okay. So design the membership page, finalize the copy on the page. So that
because
really,
I'll probably design it without like finalizing the copy first. That's just usually how I design stuff, is like, okay, I know there's going to be like a headline here. I know there's going to be some supporting text here. Did you see
the authentic sales page that I sent you?
I haven't looked at it yet.
Let me show you. Also, I'm just going to go back to showing the screen because this hilarious Pibble GIF that I found and sent to you. I'm going to show this just because I think it's interesting here on...
Bold move showing our text history on camera.
That's fine. I mean, we don't say anything bad, do we? I don't know. I'll look through it as I do it. And it's like whatever. Okay, so this is authentic. Some of you know this. Brian Gardner, who's worked on a couple different things, he signed up for our newsletter when we were writing our WAIM build back in March of last year, and he was really interested to follow along and watch, and he would send me emails after we posted things and shared things, and it actually, building Wandering Aimfully, inspired him to create his own community for Authentic, this brand, and so he wasn't sure what he was going to do with this, and maybe he was thinking about it before Wandering Aimfully, but I mean, I have emails where he said it inspired him, which is cool, but they put this sales page together. This is now open. I mean, I'm not trying to pitch you guys on leaving our community and joining this one, obviously, but I did really like the layout of this just from like an information standpoint, and we would probably have a little bit more fun and whimsical design and things, but as I read through it, it just was very straightforward. It was very clean and clear.
Very clear, yeah.
So I just thought this was, to me, this is like, I almost look at this as, hey, Brian, thanks for creating a really high fidelity wireframe for us.
Yeah.
Because we can take this, and I think for anybody who is designing anything, whatever, you look at something like this and just remove all the design elements and think about it as blocks of content, and you go, oh, this is like, I really like the way that a lot of this is set up. So I think this is a good, fun thing to do. And I've scrolled through this incredibly quickly, but hopefully it's given you guys a little look at this as well. All right, anyway, going back over here. So, finalize the copy, design the sales page,
and then it's already hooked up on our existing website because it goes to the
register
splash
page. So
No, I'm saying like
The domain.
stop finishing my sentence so I can tell you what I mean.
Sandwich.
Okay. Everything on the website that points to the sales page has been flipped over to go to join.watering
Yeah.
Aimfully. That's what I'm trying to
Yeah.
ask.
And on join.watering Aimfully, the buy button
Will
go
go
to
the register
page.
The register page is already, so basically the way that the checkout works now is you have the sales page. When you click buy, it goes to a register page, which loops in with our Restrict Content Pro membership software. So our hacky way of getting around that, which is great for us, is basically we're just swapping out the interstitial sales page with the Squarespace site, and then it's like bypassing the existing sales page, if that makes sense. So we're kind of sending people to Squarespace for the new sales page, and then when they click buy, they're going back to the register page, and everything works the same.
And why this doesn't matter at all is because your sales page is like the least search content friendly page on a website. Like no one's going to find a sales page through SEO. So it doesn't matter that it's on two different providers and subdomain and whatever. So I don't worry about any of those things. So they're making it easy on us.
Cool.
Sales emails. So we're going to use our own sales email sequence and process. So we're going to have a 7-day launch for this. It's going to start on the 21st of January and it's going to end on the 28th. We're going to do an open and closed cart like we talk about doing for everyone else to do. We're going to use our own advice. So I think we should...
but they're going to be all new sales emails.
They're going to be all new sales emails. So let's just put in here rewrite the 7-day sales email sequence. And then let's build the drip campaign for the 7-day sales email sequence. And part of the reason why we do a campaign is so that we can have an opt-out link if someone doesn't want to opt out. You guys, our Watering Aimfully members, will probably not see this campaign. We don't like to send sales emails to people who've already bought the thing that we're selling them. But for some reason, if you're like, I really want to see those sales emails, we will share the Google Doc with you. So just send me a DM on Slack and I can share the Google Doc with you and you can read through all the sales emails to your heart's content. But we're going to use the exact principles in the selling workshop. So if you're like, how are you guys going to write these sales emails? Go watch the selling workshop in the Watering Aimfully dashboard and we're going to follow that blueprint to a T. Lowercase t or uppercase t? What
Uppercase.
You want an uppercase?
Like a Zach Morris timeout T.
Okay, timeout. Okay, so that's the sales stuff. Do you want to put anything in there for drip of like set up the automations or the rules for tagging and that type of thing? Do you need to?
Yeah, update. This is just what I have to do every launch. Like it'll probably be the same, but just double check. Update automations and I'll just say update automation rules for tagging for WAIM buyers. We also probably need to update the onboarding sequence for WAIM.
Mm-hmm. So that begs the question, what we have talked about with Build Without Burnout as well is basically opting someone into a weekly reminder email sequence for Build Without Burnout. And essentially that is very simple, but it's a weekly email that someone gets that says, hey, you're enrolled in Build Without Burnout Academy. This week's lesson that you should be tackling is this. And I think we should...
Yeah, and then we just have an opt-out link, and then people.
I think we should just opt people into that. I think we should set it up on a weekly schedule, so
Yep.
it goes, Thursday or whatever, Monday or Tuesday. We can decide on the day, and then just have like a big opt-out button, so that someone can opt out of it, and make sure they don't unsubscribe because that will remove them from all emails.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, we need to do create worksheets and resources,
For all lessons. Yeah.
and we'll just go and. We have an ongoing list going. Basically, as I've been building the slides,
I'm showing it on my screen right now.
if I think of a worksheet or a resource that would be really helpful to help somebody work through that lesson, I've just been adding it to this really long list. And what we're going to do is go back through that list and prioritize it.
Yep.
Because as Jason's showing you right now, already there's 20 different worksheets and things. And
which is good because when you look at it like this, it's a lot. But again, the whole idea of Build Without Burnout is that it is a 6-month program.
Exactly.
So you essentially have 24, 26 weeks in 6 months. The goal is that if you have one worksheet per week, then that's great. That's leading you through it. So it's just really going to be for us the prioritization of, hey, maybe we only get the first 3 months 3 lessons
Well,
done.
and I'm even thinking, like, based on everything we have done, like, I probably can't even create 10 worksheets, but I can create the best 5, and I can start there and just go, okay, does somebody really need this checklist, or can I just say it? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you really have to kind of make those decisions.
Cool.
Cool.
Okay, so that is the to-do for the worksheets, which... Do you want to break this up for the worksheets thing?
Sure.
Because I don't think it should just be one, because it's a
Sure.
lot. So what if we just do create
by
worksheets
month.
for each lesson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again,
we need
semantics, we're going month, we're going lesson.
You're going lesson, but I've been creating the content. So the months are the modules. There's 6 of them. So I've been calling it month 1, month 2, month 3.
Sure.
The lessons are numbered 1 to 24 within those modules.
So in Teachery, is it going to be module 1, lesson 1?
Yes.
Cool.
But then it's going to be module. It's not module. It's month. We're going to call months.
Okay.
Month 1, lesson 1.
Cool.
Or even the week 1. We'll
I'm
have to-
sorry we're fighting about this in front of you guys.
Month 1, week 1. Month 2, week 6. Because then
So we're not using the words module or lesson within the course.
I don't think so. I think it helps to reiterate the time frame of things.
Yeah. The only reason, and this is like we're in the weeds, but the only reason why I think lessons might be helpful is if someone goes, hey, I'm in month 1, lesson 3. I mean, I know they could say like, I'm in month 1, week 3. Okay, either way, that's fine. I talked it out.
Good. Because I'm also thinking like,
You guys had to watch Mom and Dad fight again. Here we are.
part of it is like, I have that game board image that we have in our head of like the time frame.
Candyland?
Yeah, and I just think we really need to reiterate to people, if this program is going to be different from other programs in that it doesn't push you to burnout, we need to really reiterate at all turns, pacing yourself.
Totally.
Pacing yourself. And so there's going to be a couple of all-stars who want to get in there and do all the lessons. That's actually not how the course is designed. It's not how the program is designed. So I think language matters, and I think by using the semantics, we're guiding students in the way that we want them to use the program. And so I think that we should just reiterate the timing message. Have I convinced you
Of what?
to come to my semantics?
Sure. I was actually fine with your semantics. They were different each time. So I was confused.
They were not different each time.
I mean, if we scroll up, we have lessons, we have modules, we have...
We don't have modules. We have
just
months.
kidding. I'm just
Exactly.
kidding. Lol. Okay. Can you think of anything else for the course, the selling of this?
I'm sure things will come up. I mean, like social content and stuff, but that's always a part of our more ongoing efforts. So
But I
that's
think
sort of
it's-
like already in the system.
I think that's worth... Okay, I'm going to call that boring things that we're working on because I want to get to the fun things that I want to put on this list as well.
Okay.
So let's add some social stuff in here as a plan on the task list.
But do you know what I'm saying? Like, I already do that once a week anyway, so it's just really about changing the content. So I'd rather leave it off because to me this is like additional things we're trying to do.
Okay.
So I already know that the social is on my plate.
Okay. Cool.
So what are the fun things that you want to get to?
Okay. So one of the things that we preach when we talk about selling things, especially online learning things, but anything, is surprise and delight. So I want to have...
It's actually, surprise and delight is actually month 5.
Yeah. It's in building...
Nope, it's month 4, week 15. Planning for surprise and delight.
Absolutely. So
Okay.
I want our own surprise and delight
Thing.
with this. And
Well, we haven't talked about, are we going to continue to do the WAIM books? Because they're going to get that already.
yeah, we should definitely continue to do the WAIM books.
Do you want to update the books? Oh, we have a bunch of them already.
We have like 6 left, I think.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
We can look
We
and see
might
how
want to
many
look at updating them to include Build Without Burnout, but
Oh, you know what would be fun?
what?
If we designed like a full page spread of Build Without Burnout as like a video game or like a game board.
Well, I already planned on creating that image.
That
Did you
people
see
could
on my
download.
resource?
Uh-uh.
That
Is
was
that in
like
this
in
list?
the intro module. I want to have the time frame as a game.
Like, are you talking about this one? the calendar.
No, roadmap worksheet. Oh, you just don't know what that means. Roadmap worksheet and image. So I want to build like a roadmap, but I want it to be like a game board image.
Okay, so these are the fun things I want to talk about. I 100% think that we should design a 2-page spread for the book that they get in the mail that has this game board for Build Without Burnout that they can use. I think that should also be a downloadable resource in the introduction section of the course that you can print off, have on your desktop, and you can exit out.
Yeah, and I was thinking too, like spots where they can write in the dates.
Totally.
And then that's why I also wrote, I do think it'd be good to have an additional one that's just a calendar format, so they can be like deadlines for for finishing.
We can be like, hey, if you're a boring person, you want a calendar, use this one. If you're a fun person, you want to have a game board, you can do this. So
you're just such a little kid.
Well, when we talked about building Build Without Burnout, number one, it's different because it's slow. It's meant to be taken at a slow pace. Number two, we talked about the no burnout while you're doing this thing. And then there were 2 other things that I wanted to really do. Number one, I want some type of board game element to this with a little bit of like, you can go forward, but we're telling you not to go forward. So we're going to talk about that in a second. And then the second thing with this is that I wanted it to feel fun. So this, to me, it feels fun. Like, you're gonna learn, you can do that, but like, you have this thing you can print off that you can like cross out, and I know it's gonna take extra time to design this, and especially to have it done for the launch, because I want it to be done for the launch. But to constrain ourselves and go, okay, we have 2 hours to design the game board, and that's it. That's all we can do. And if we want to update it later, it's really easy to generate a new file and update it. So it's very fun. Okay, so game board.
Very fun.
All right, so let's add in here, create the essential 2-page spread game board design, which can be used as a 1-page to print outside of the book.
I'm just gonna say create game board, and then I'll just reformat it to be a 2-page spread.
But I'm really excited. Like, to me, this just feels fun, and this is where my super weird brain.
Oh no, I'm totally on board. Like, and this is where it goes back to also why it's so important to have brand values and why it's so important to know what you're trying to do as a brand and a business, because you guys know that we try to embrace our weird anytime that we can. And yeah, we talk about business, and yeah, we talk about intention and all those things, but we do it in a way that's uniquely us. And we like things that are weird, and we like things that are unexpected, and we like bringing fun to everything that we do. So
yeah. Okay, so that's the game board image.
Yeah.
I think that at the completion of the course, and this obviously doesn't have to be done at launch, but at the completion of the course, there should be some, like, get a badge or get some type of thing that you do, and that doesn't happen automatically. I think that's something that someone, not as an Easter egg, but they kind of have to find at the end of it. And then we can...
This is like really silly, but it just made my brain think of it. Because I was thinking like, it'd be fun if you had to like choose your game piece like at the beginning. And then I was like, ooh, it'd be even more fun if you sort of like Harry Potter style had to like pick a
family.
Yeah, to be in. What do they call those? I know it's the sorting hat. I forget what they call them. But anyway, if we had like the descriptions for each one, and then I think it'd be fun because you could be people who join with you. It's like, who are the Gryffindors, right, of the class or whatever. Like, I just think that's fun. But
okay, we can think through that in a separate, shorter meeting.
Yeah.
But the completion badge for me, I think, would also be fun of like, we put someone's name on it, and then we send them that file as like a vector image that they can have.
Yeah, but what are they gonna do with it?
Whatever they want. I don't know. Like, there's a reason why people like these types of things. It's fun. It has your name on it. It feels like you completed something. Like, I don't know. I just think that's, again, different.
Totally.
Okay, so 2 other things I want to talk about in Fun Town.
Okay.
Number 1 is...
Won't you take me to Fun Town?
So we need to think through, at the end of months, the idea is that really it's at the end of weeks as well, but in the board game Pandemic, if you guys have not played this board game, essentially you sit down and you play for 60 minutes, and then you're not supposed to play again via the card deck. Like, it tells you to stop, and then you wait until whatever. And so our goal with Build Without Burnout is we're not going to lock down lessons. Well, we are in the beginning because that's mainly from a production standpoint, but from a letting you go through, if you don't want to take 6 months and you want to go through this thing in 2 weeks because you're an all-star, by all means, go for it. Like, we don't recommend that.
You're gonna burn out. But...
We don't recommend that, but this is where I want to have like, if we have little cards at the end of every lesson or little images essentially that basically say, stop, like give yourself the time to wait, take a break, whatever it is. And so thinking through how we make that kind of fun, because, if we have 24 total lessons, we need 24 variations of that in some way.
Well, you'll see that you and I can talk about at the meeting after when we go through the slides that like, okay, so you've seen, I know this is in like Product to Profit, and I also do it in Better Branding course, but at the end of every lesson in Better Branding course, I basically have a summary of the lesson and then I have action steps and like downloads or whatever. And so for a lot of the week lessons, there are things that you need to do once you finish the video or whatever. And so I'm wondering if we could incorporate that into those images where it's like, stop, like do these 3 things and then
go to your game board and
do whatever and don't move forward until next week or whatever.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I like involving the stop cards with the game board of like, did you do these action steps? And there's on the game board.
Then you can move forward.
For the 24 tiles or spaces, you have to like go in and do it.
See, I think it would be really fun. This is where I think that choosing your game piece could be fun, because it's like, here's your game board, and then choose which game piece you want, and it's maybe a separate thing, and you can print off both, and then you can just tape it on, like you can move your little game board. You know what I mean?
We'll think about that in a separate.
Okay. So create game board image, stop cards. I'm just gonna write that.
Do we also want to put a task in here to have game board meeting?
Sure.
I think it'd be worth doing that. Okay, so my other fun thing.
Yeah.
And I don't want to ruin the surprise for this, but again, you guys are existing WAIMers, like.
Plus, if you're watching 30 minutes into this, then you're
30. We're 49 minutes in, bro. Community chest.
okay.
So we talked about this in the beginning. This was my 4th item on my 4
Sorry, I
things.
have something in my eye.
Was to have, and I don't remember exactly where we said to put this. Maybe it was in the catch-up week. That's some good snoring. Was to basically have a page that we create, and I'm sure you could do this through Squarespace, and we could have it be like a fun URL, like a subdomain URL, or just on the join, whatever. That doesn't matter. But the idea is that you go there, and it basically gives you like a random thing to do if you're done with your work. So it's like, hey, go Marie Kondo your dresser drawers. Like, congratulations, you finished this week of Build Without Burnout or whatever.
It would probably be more applicable.
Maybe it would, maybe it wouldn't. Like, I want it to be somewhat random, Like, I think it would be really fun if it was just some random, some work stuff. But the idea was to give somebody, because there's 1 week a month that's a catch-up week.
Right.
And on that week, it would be fun to be able to go to something, especially if you're done, and you have like a to-do item that we can give you that's not necessarily related, and maybe it's completely unrelated, but it's just like a fun thing. Again, like trying to add some fun into this.
I'm on board. We're not going to be able to do that before the launch of the first time.
Which is fine, but I do want to put it on here as a...
Which is fine, but reiterating, everything that we have in front of us, and we need to take our own medicine and not get burnt out on all of this, and just say, because I agree, the fun stuff is really important, and it's not something that I want to get eliminated in all of this, because I think it's what makes it different. But I also just think we need to be honest about the amount of creativity that it would take to create all this stuff and the amount of time that we have. Jason, yes, you have a question.
I am willing to sacrifice the community chest for the launch, but I'm not willing to sacrifice the game board part of it.
The game board's been on board the whole time for me. So I'm not gonna, and plus that's a lot less thinking.
Okay.
That's just like, we've already designed the idea behind this.
I think if we just talked about what the community chest is, I think there's a potential to having that exist not in a very difficult or time-consuming way.
Okay, well, guarantee you.
It's extra effort no matter what. I know that.
Guarantee you it's not going to be at the top of the priority list until the day before we launch. So if you can do it in a day, then sure.
Totally. And if any WAIMer who's watching this is like, hey guys, I could build like a random generator thing with like a button and it just chooses from like a bunch of images, and like you can embed that on a Squarespace page, reach out, because that's kind of what we're thinking.
Reach out and touch someone.
No. Hey, that's something I would say. That's trouble. Don't do that.
I thought that was a song.
Okay.
Isn't that a song?
So
don't touch people.
Those are the fun things. Yeah.
What else?
One thing is to add Build Without Burnout card in the dashboard.
Yeah.
Add a call out above the library with a div above that. So I actually did this yesterday for a couple minutes while I was at jury duty, and just jumped in the HTML. I don't have it to show you, but basically I added a div in the inspector, and I'll show my screen so I can show everybody.
Above that.
So I added a div here. It pushed everything down, and then we could have basically like a 2-column like Build Without Burnout logo, and then a call out to like go do Build Without Burnout.
I wonder if it might be worth sending an email to Mark as well to just go like, what would it take to have, like, my ideal based on the framework that we have now would be that when someone joins WAIM, since their dashboard is empty, Build Without Burnout is already favorited to their courses, and that's the only thing in their dashboard to start. That would be my ideal.
So when someone signs up for the dashboard, just to give you a reminder of how this works, the first page they go after they sign up is the tour.
Yeah.
So what we could do in the tour is I could add a section in here that essentially says like, you know, first thing to do is add.
I know, but I wish it was just there.
Yeah. Again, you can add it to the list if you want, like default to having Build Without Burnout. Well, just add it to the remaining tasks because it's something that I could ask Mark and see like what that would take. And again, maybe that's not something that we have for this launch, but if Build Without Burnout goes well, we get some good feedback, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
We do that. So is there anything else in the dashboard that we want to update? The library was the big thing that I thought of. The card. Are we going to have a roadmap that goes with Build Without Burnout? Because to me, like, I think in the course itself, we want to tell people to use the mark as completed buttons within the course so that when you log into the course, you can see the things that you've completed. That's why Teachery has mark as completed buttons. And then not having, like, to me, the course is the roadmap. So you don't necessarily need a roadmap for it. And then in the library, on the card itself, you can just mark as completed once you've done it using the mark as completed button.
I'm going to write it down because I did in my brain.
Think about having a company.
I had like a master, or I think as one of my resources, I had a month checklist. So all the things that you should have completed in that month module before moving on. And so I imagine I could just put all of those together and have the phases in the roadmap. And
just do one Build Without Burnout roadmap. I do feel like it's a little bit redundant, but let's put it on the list and we can talk about it. Again, not necessary for the launch in my opinion, but it could be something that we add on.
Okay. Okay.
I think that's it.
I'm sure there's going to be more, but I think we should start assigning dates to all this stuff.
Okay. I don't think that's something that we need to keep recording for. I think we've kept people long enough. They've heard a bunch of things.
But just to let you know, from here, we show them that in the assigned to column, we assign whether you're going to be working on it or I'm going to be working on it.
Yeah.
And then in the when to do column, we assign a date.
Yeah.
And then in the status column, as we start working on things, we put in progress. Everything is basically defaulted to not started until then.
Yeah.
You can copy and paste that.
That's fine.
And then show them the calendar view.
Show them the calendar view, which is this guy and this guy.
Yeah, and so what'll happen is
once we assign
dates, all of those records will be on the right, and then you'll see the tasks for every day.
Cool.
And then also show them Carol's to-dos.
I also really don't like the calendar view in Airtable.
And I do, but I'm just showing people so that they know how to use it. So what I've done here is this view basically takes all the remaining tasks, and it only filters the ones that are assigned to me, and then it groups them by date.
Yep.
So what I was saying to you guys is I just set that up one time, and then it populates using all of the remaining tasks that we do on that first view. And so each date is basically a little to-do list, right? And so these are things that I haven't marked off yet. But once we assign dates, it'll basically tell me what to do every day, and I really like that.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Okay, so from here, we are going to go through assign, set dates, and then probably prioritize based on what we need to do. And then we'll fill our calendars with time blocks the next 11 days and not burn out and make some decisions on what has to be done and what does not have to be done. And then probably have another meeting right before the launch. So my guess would probably be next Friday to then reprioritize, when we're doing what going forward. The only other thing we didn't put on here was if we wanted to do some type of workshop during the launch, like a video workshop. And maybe that could be like a how to transition from client to products and like a basic overview, and then like teach a couple things and then go, hey, if you really like this, we have a 6-month program.
I think we should.
Okay, so throw that on the list because we will need a crowdcast for that. And then we'll need our own little keynote for that to go over with people.
Which we can just like pluck from.
But I think it would actually be potentially worth it to include that in this coming Monday's email as a call out for people to join that too. So cool. All right.
Okay. We like you guys a lot.
Thank you for being here. If you guys have any feedback or thoughts or anything that you've been thinking about with Build Without Burnout as we have talked about it, please feel free to let us know. We do want to try and show it to you before we show it to the world. Fingers crossed that we will make that happen. No guarantees because you can see our schedule, but our goal is always to give you guys first access to everything that we create. So hopefully this alone is some of that first access. And now we're going to move into all this other stuff and going through the slides.
P.S. I hope you're following us on Instagram because I've been trying to do better at showing more behind the scenes and documenting that while we build this. So if you're interested in that stuff, go follow us there and watch our stories, and that's it.
Bye.